Hey there, and welcome. So, you've totally been here, right? You know exactly what you need to do. That huge project for work, that workout you promised yourself you'd start, that really tough conversation you've been avoiding. And yet, what do? We find ourselves scrolling through Instagram. It's this bizarre paradox. We know what's important, but we actively choose not to do it. The big question is, why on earth do we do this to ourselves? So yeah, why do we put off the stuff that truly matters? Look, this isn't just about being lazy. Not at all. It's actually a super complex psychological puzzle, one that pits our best intentions against our most immediate, simple desires. And in this explainer, we're going to unravel this mystery together. All right, first up, the procrastination paradox. You know, it really feels like a modern problem, doesn't it? Like it's fueled by our smartphones and endless Netflix queues. But it turns out this is one of humanity's oldest, most universal struggles. I mean, this isn't some new character flaw we've developed. It's deeply, deeply human. We're talking ancient Egyptians back in 1400 BC, carving warnings into stone to stop putting off work. The ancient Greek poets were writing about it. And centuries ago in India, the poet Sant Kabir was advising people to just do the work today. This has been with us forever. But here is where it gets kind of crazy. Even though it's an ancient problem, it has gotten so much worse, like exponentially worse. Researchers have seen a staggering 300 to 400% jump in chronic procrastination in just the last 40 years. So what on earth has changed? Well, let's just look at what our brains choose to do. We delay the big, important, tough stuff. That office project, hitting the gym, having that heart-to-heart. And what do we fill that time with? Oh, easy, instantly satisfying things. We never procrastinate on scrolling Instagram, watching one more funny video, or ordering takeout. There's a really weird logic going on here. And that yucky feeling you get when you do that, it has a name: cognitive dissonance. It's that awful mental tug of war. It's the gap between the person you want to be and the person who just spent 3 hours watching cat videos. And that's exactly where all that stress, anxiety, and guilt comes from. So this brings us to the science of our own self-sabotage. Think of this next part like a detective story. We're going to investigate 4 key suspects. These are 4 major scientific theories that really help explain why our brains often choose to do, well, nothing important. Our first suspect is something called expectancy theory. And the core idea here is actually pretty simple. Your motivation is basically a calculation. It's tied directly to how likely you think you are to succeed. So if you believe the odds are stacked against you, your motivation just nosedives. I mean, why would you even start a race you're already convinced you're going to lose? Let's make this super real. Imagine your college says, hey, we're giving a 1 million rupee prize to the top-ranked student. Now, if you're already at the top of the class, you're thinking, heck yeah, I have a real shot at this, and your motivation just skyrockets. But if you're at the bottom of the class, you're probably thinking, there is no way, no chance, and you feel zero motivation to even try. It's the same prize, but a totally different reaction, all based on your expectation of winning. Okay, suspect number 2 is need theory. This one suggests that, we're not all motivated by the same things. Our drive comes from doing stuff that connects with our deepest psychological needs. For some people, that's a need for power and control. For others, it's about social connection and being part of a team. So motivation, it's really personal. Now for our third suspect. And listen, this one is a really big deal. It's called cumulative prospect theory. This theory introduces the idea of loss aversion. And this is the key takeaway. Psychologically, the pain of losing something feels about twice as bad as the pleasure of gaining the exact same thing. We are just hardwired to avoid losing stuff. Just think about it for a second. What gets you to the gym faster? The vague idea of maybe building some muscle one day, or a doctor looking you in the eye and saying you need to exercise to avoid having a heart attack? What pushes you harder at work? The promise of a promotion or the fear of getting fired? For most of us, it's not even close. The fear of loss is a way more powerful motivator. And that brings us to our final suspect, hyperbolic discounting. This theory perfectly explains our brain's obsession with right now. We have this built-in bias where we systematically devalue future rewards. A small, tiny pleasure today feels way more valuable to our brain than a huge, awesome reward that's months or even years away. There's this old proverb that just sums it up perfectly. 9 rupees in your hand right now feels so much better, so much more real than the promise of 13 rupees later. Our brain wants the sure thing, and it wants it now. Okay, so we've got these four rational suspects. They seem to explain a lot, right? But they don't explain everything. There's a piece missing. So it's time to unmask the real reason, the final, hidden clue in this whole mystery. Here is the absolute critical question. If watching comedy videos is, rationally speaking, the more motivating choice because it gives an instant reward, then why do we feel so much guilt about it? Why does it feel so bad to do the thing our brain is supposedly wired to prefer? This points to something much, much deeper. And this is it. The missing piece isn't rational at all, it's emotional. It's the fear of failure. See, we're not just putting off the task itself, we're putting off the moment of judgment. We are desperately trying to avoid the potential pain of trying our absolute best, and it's still not being good enough. But hey, understanding the problem is only half the battle, right? Now we've got to move to the solution. Let's find a cure for tomorrow by writing ourselves a personalized prescription for action, using everything we've just figured out. And the process is actually refreshingly simple, just 2 steps. Step 1, diagnose your why. You have to be really honest with yourself and figure out the specific reason you're delaying. Then, step 2, apply the right tactic. Once you know the cause, you can use a targeted strategy to fight back against it. And here it is, the prescription pad itself. This is the main takeaway. So, if your reason is a low expectation of success, maybe it's time to pivot, to find a game you know you can actually win. If the reward feels way too far off, you can hack your brain's need for instant gratification by creating tiny, immediate rewards for each small step you take. If the task just feels pointless, use loss aversion to your advantage. Focus on everything you'll lose if you don't do it. And if you're afraid of failing, well, that one just requires a whole new way of thinking. This quote from Gilovich and Medvec is the perfect medicine for the fear of failure. Look, trying something and failing might sting for a little while. Sure. But the regret of never even trying in the first place, that is a much, much heavier burden to carry in the long run. The what if can literally haunt you for the rest of your life. So I'll leave you with this one question to really think about. By putting that thing off right now, what future regret are you actually creating for yourself today? The science is clear, we have the tools now. The only thing left to do is to act.